Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Alan with another broadcast of the Monologue Morning Digest. Please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Most importantly, I ask that you share the content as well as checking out the description below. There's a couple options for donations as well as a backup channel in case YouTube gets rid of me. I come to you guys with a message today that I believe is pretty dire. And if it's not apparent, this country's already in a hot civil war. And if any of you think that it's going to calm down after November 3rd, regardless of who wins, you're absolutely out of your mind. We're seeing militias in Kentucky walking the street, both left-wing and right-wing, pro-democracy patriots, as well as those that are fascist by definition. We are seeing riots in our streets, people being burned alive, children dying left and right. It is fomented into a hot civil war, and there is no denying it. We have 64 straight days of riots going on, and all at the same time that this is happening inside of our own country, we have China fomenting everything behind the scenes. And honestly, this has been their game plan for a long time. You see, what they did is, a long time ago, they took the Illuminati's game plan, Rules for Radical by Mark Zelinsky 101, and they infiltrated every part of American society, whether it be local all the way up to the federal government and everything in between. And what they've done is they've fomented everything that we see with this division inside of our country, as far as racism, as far as social justice, as far as feminism, as far as Marxism, as far as the destruction of the nuclear family. And they've done this, right, by using institutions like Black Lives Matter and the Confucius Institute, as well as all of these institutions that are in our colleges day by day, slowly destroying and eroding the principles and morals that made America what they are. And I hate to be the one to deliver this news, but just like your ancestors that fought so hard for your freedom, or what semblance of it you may have left, you guys, and myself included, are going to have to make a decision as to whether or not we are willing to lay our lives down to regain what little freedoms we still have, in hopes of rebuilding the freedom that was taken from us over the last 150, 200 years. Because this plan that we see coming to fruition right in front of our eyes started before the founding of our country, okay? A lot of people like to think that this is a new struggle. It's not. This is the same battle that's been going on since the Garden of Adam and Eve. And I'm telling you right now, it's a battle of principalities. It is black and white, okay? It is good versus evil. Now, what you have to understand is, there's nothing you can do to change it at this point. The system itself, right, has been corrupted so much that you cannot change the tide, okay? You are literally floating down a river, about to go off the edge of a waterfall, and there's nothing you can do because the current is too strong. We had our opportunity to get to shore, and rebuild, and we lost it, all right? Now, all of this is with politics aside, because the right is just as guilty as the left and everybody in between. If you're looking for somebody to blame, you have no further to look than in the mirror. And I hate to tell you guys, this country, and the way that it's going right now, honestly, is not worth saving. Not in its entirety. And I firmly believe that this is because our Constitution and our government was never made to govern over such a vast amount of people nor territory. And our constitutional founders gave us the right as citizens a long time ago to overthrow our government if we saw fit. And the thing is, we should have done it a long time ago, okay? Things have become way too powerful, way too big for us to ever hope to change this from the inside. That's not going to happen. Because, like I've said before, the Chinese have already started changing things from the inside. And if you think they're alone in that, again, you are out of your mind. This is a plan that's been put in place years and years ago, as I've said. And anybody that's read Albert Pike's letters will understand that we are only one conflict away from them accomplishing their goal of one world order. all right? And everything going on with coronavirus right now is the catalyst to make all of that happen. As I've said, we're seeing riots in the streets, but that's not the only thing that shows me we are moving to a fight, okay? We are going to end up fighting for one system or another coming into place. And on one hand, you have traditional liberalism, traditional freedom. And when I say liberal, I don't mean what the left has turned liberalism into nowadays, okay? I mean traditional liberalism. And then you have this New World Order doctrine that they're trying to put in place, and they're about to butt heads. But when we see this next round of stimulus checks coming out, right, everybody's happy that they're going to get another $1,200. But what I hate to tell you is you're buying right into their game plan by accepting this money and actually thanking them for it and acting like it's a good thing, because this is all a giant push for universal basic income. And the more and more people get used to getting a stipend from the U.S. government, the more and more they become dependent on the government tit, all right? And that's exactly what they want. That's what they've done to the minority communities in this country from day one. They destroyed the nuclear family and made those minority communities dependent on the government. And it's gotten to the point where it's not just affecting the minorities anymore. They are coming after the silent majority with it. And the problem is the silent majority is too silent, and they are banking on it. Because what they've done is they've programmed you through your 12 years plus 2 in school to not think for yourself, to not put yourself out on a limb and speak the truth. They've removed all individuality from everybody, while at the same time gaslighting you by saying you are an individual. Everything we taught you was individuality. It's all a giant gaslighting project, and it works perfectly. But as I've said, they're moving us towards a cashless society with a universal basic income. Anybody that's been paying attention to the stores recently, tell me what happens when you go and try to pay cash. They're asking for exact change, and if you don't have exact change, they want you to give them a debit card, all right? Now, you mean to tell me that the federal government couldn't have foreseen that we were going to have a coin shortage and actually minted enough coins to get ahead of this? No. They've done this because they want everybody to be moved towards a cashless society. Because what's going to happen is, once people accept it, right, and it's already happening, because when I get into arguments or debates with people about this, they tell me, why don't you just use your debit card? You have one. The thing is, on principle, that note says it's payable for all debts, public and private. It is my constitutional right to use that dollar bill, and I shouldn't be told that I can't. But the fact of the matter is most of this country are being sheep and buying into the system and saying, well, I'll just use my debit card, without understanding the picture is removing yet another freedom. Because once you come dependent on that piece of plastic to pay for everything, with this cancel culture going on, it's not an unlogical leap to make. What if somebody doesn't like you that works in a field where they can turn off that piece of plastic? You see it happening in China all the time, okay? We are moving towards a dystopian, an extremely dystopian society, and they are programming you to accept it over and over again. We are already in a civil war. This war is being fought right now. People are dying in the streets, okay? And they are being killed by their neighbor. They are being killed by their relative, all right? This war has gone hot, and they are attacking us on every level, especially socially programming us. They're trying to program us into thinking we are not alone, while at the same time alienating every single one of us. Major League Baseball, for example. They are pulling some Black Mirror garbage right now, and nobody even understands what they are doing. So anybody that's watched Black Mirror will understand there was an episode where everybody lives in cubicles and they ride a bike all day long to produce energy. And there is a certain elite class of these people that are in charge of making entertainment for them. But there's never an audience, all right? These people live in an 8x8 prison cell with screens all over their walls, constantly being fed entertainment that is literally programming their minds. And when you watch one of these programs, you yourself have a digital avatar, and they insert that digital avatar into these arenas where they're competing, singing contests, etc., etc. So you know what MLB is going to do? They're going to use the Unreal Engine on Fox Network and insert a CGI crowd into these MLB stadiums, so we have the illusion that there's actually fans out there living a real life. We are literally becoming prisoners in our own homes, and we have begged for it. Meanwhile, there is a war being waged on the street, and the average American is begging for more government control. I don't care whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump. If you don't like Trump and you're calling him a fascist, then why are you getting on your knees and begging the government to lock everything down? If you do support Trump, then why the hell are you not out there standing up for your freedoms, which he so passionately defends? The fact of the matter is, right, Americans have been living so long without a real challenge in their lives that we don't know what it means to face a struggle anymore, and it is literally destroying the humanity that we have. All right, courage is not born out of want, okay? It is born out of necessity, okay? You gotta realize, when our ancestors, great-grandparents, went to fight in World War II, there were 13 and 14-year-old boys that lied about their age to go die for people they have never met. And we can argue what that war was really about, but in the minds of those children that lied, they were fighting for freedom, for people they never met, for a culture they don't understand, because in their mind, they were fighting evil. There is very few children in America today that would lay their lives on the line, and there's very few adults that would do the same. And the scary thing is you're going to have to make that decision pretty soon, okay? There is no way around it. You can shoot the messenger, but that's already being done. We see it happening on the street every day. Just ask the guy in Chicago, a black man, mind you, that was assassinated right outside his own business for holding a sign that said, "Vote for Trump." Assassinated in broad daylight. Don't tell me that this civil war hasn't started. It's time that you choose which side you're going to stand on. If you get on your knees and you bow to Black Lives Matter, remember that when you're on your knees in front of your Creator when you die, because you're going to pay a price for it. Mark my words.